study with DLR at 4:30. Roll call.
Dr. Luna Naheda.
Here.
Mr. Del Palacio. Mr. Ortega Romero.
Here.
Mr. Chapman.
Here.
And Ms. Sun.
Here.
Thank you.
Open to the Okay, all right. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Land acknowledgement statement. The Tolleson Union High School District Governing Board would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land.
Microphones.
Pushing.
Are we good?
Yeah.
The Tolleson Union High School District Governing Board would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land. The Aka.
There you go. Yeah.
The Tolleson Union High School District Governing Board would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Aka Odenham and Peepash peoples, and pay our respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. We recognize their enduring connections to the land, their rich culture and language, and the invaluable contributions they have made and continue to make to our community. As we gather today for the Tolleson Union High School District Governing Board meeting, let us remember the sacrifice of their land and honor the legacy of the original stewards of the territory.
No, I'm good. Everyone can hear me? All right, thank you, member. Okay. All right, thank you, member Ortega, for the land acknowledgement statement. And now we will move to the topics for discussion for our new school, number 8. Superintendent, please take it away.
Yes, we have our guest here from DLR group who are going to lead us through an exercise and gather everyone's feedback. So I'm going to turn it over. Who's going to kick it off first, Carmen?
Hi, good afternoon. We're excited to be here. So today it's a super short agenda, little tiny intro to us, and then about 50 minutes we'd love to listen to you. We've got Post-its where you're trying to gather your goals and your thoughts for High School 8, and then next steps, because this is definitely not the last time we'll be listening to you. So my name is Carmen Wyckoff. I'm an architect. I also lead our studio here in Arizona.
David Schmidt, the lead architect for DLR Group, and is based here in Phoenix as well.
Hi everybody, my name is Diana Gonzalez. I am a structural engineer and also a Westview High School graduate, so happy to be here.
Hello everyone, I am Byra Lara Polygon, and I'll be the project manager for the project.
It's because you're on the other side. Hello, I'm Juliana Norval, and I'm a principal at DLR Group. Happy to be here. So we've heard a few things already through the administration. We heard you really wanted a partnership with PIR and play that up. And what is really fortunate is we're the architects who redid the PIR infield. And so we have all of that design, detailing, and that excitement that we can bring to High School 8. We heard you wanted really strong CTE, and so we're bringing to the table a wealth of CTE experience. This happens to be Pima Community College, as well as Somerton High that has really strong CTE, Here in the West Valley, we've done most of the West Mex as well. So CTE is one of our fortes. We heard you wanted sustainability to lower your energy costs. And we bring to the table, for example, this West Mech building that's actually net positive. It means it produces more energy with its solar panels than it consumes. So we have that expertise, including in-house engineers that will work with us on those. And actually, one of the next steps, later we're going to plan a board workshop talking to you about values and about sustainability in a broader context. You know, walkability, community access, all those other things as well. We heard you wanted innovation that's based on research, based on good use of taxpayer money. We have that. We actually did primary research that shows the building can influence a student's outcome up to 16%. So that's pretty dramatic when you think about how you could improve a student's life. And then we heard you wanted a safe and secure school. And so our schools are based on CEPTED, that's crime prevention through environmental design. And one of our architects in-house has a certification and is now going for an advanced certification in this. It's really common sense approaches to safety and security that also makes the building look beautiful. So I said it was going to be short and sweet because we really did want to listen to you. So we have Post-its here. I know you have one person online, so I don't know if perhaps they could send thoughts to Lapita and she could write them down. Because I know you've been thinking about high school aid and things that you want to see.
I'll keep it clear.
Yeah, so each person, oh, you can match your shirt. Jeremy, you want to? Yeah. So we're gonna take 10 minutes. This is a PowerPoint, so I'll just look at my watch. It's 35 after, so at 45 after, I just want you to brainstorm one idea per Post-it because we're going to cluster them and see if there's common themes. So don't write 10 ideas on one Post-it, but you have 10 minutes to write as many thoughts as you want. Okay, thanks.
The benefits of unified sports are social participation and the exposure to new activities, things that they might not have had otherwise had opportunities to participate in.
When we build our equipment and our kids who can't typically participate are able to do something independently, the joy that they get from doing that activity for the first time is incredible.
I didn't really like playing in front of people in the beginning because I thought I wasn't good at it. And then once I got used to playing in front of people, I got a little bit out of my shell, and now I'm comfortable playing with other people.
I learned that I need to be confident.
Oh, you want to be more confident?
Yeah.
You learn to be more confident?
Special Olympics has had such an impact on the Arizona community as a whole because we are really focused on community for all. It doesn't matter what kind of situation you're in, what is your disability. We are really here for everybody, making life happen for everybody, making fun happen for everybody, because sports are fun.
We've been playing like different kinds of sports like volleyball, and we played this one game. It's called we wear these like uniforms, stuff like that. Like whoever had the ball is stopped, and we throw it to our teammate. Now we just actually legit play badminton day. I've been training super hard that day.
Funnest, most happiest people I've ever seen in my life. It's just every day is just they have that positivity that can spread everywhere, like it's contagious.
Unified Sports benefits students with and without disabilities in just so many ways. You see them come into the class at the beginning of the year and they're very shy, not very aware of how to act or behave, and then you just see these relationships blossom and then grow, and they truly do become like a team, and they're super close, super tight, and our students really do show really great examples of this throughout competitions, is really supporting those that do have disabilities and just having those friendships and building that support and having that support for one another.
I really enjoy dancing because I learned that when the first time I danced, I was shy, but then I realized that dancing can be not just about dancing, it can be about making memorable memories.
During these past few months of the year when we started, I feel that the most memorable moment is when we all started playing, not knowing what we were doing, but we still figured it out in front of everyone.
We love everything unified, bringing people together, athletes, partners, giving them that normal experience of a team. And as a district, we came together and said, let's plan these events, district events.
At first, I was coming into it not knowing what to expect, and I feel like that's most cases for like things that you haven't tried before. But I definitely feel that I've grown so much with it. I've learned a lot, and it's something that I want to do more with. Like I want to be a part of my future.
I think that you can look at the footage of students and see the smiles on their faces and know that what Unified Sports is offering those students in general is a great deal of independence, success, and joy. I think you can look at any single player and be like, this program is making a difference.
I think the partners too, like
for sure,
they get really excited to learn about our switch stuff and all the equipment we use, and then encouraging their athlete to participate. So I think it's a growing and learning opportunity for them that they really enjoy.
Join it because it's something where you're going to not only learn how to play a sport, but you're going to learn social skills with different people, knowing that when we go out into the real world, it's not just going to be us, it's going to be other people. And they're no different than us, but it's just showing that we're going to have that type of connection with special education than just gen ed kids.
I don't know, I just think Unified is one of the greatest programs that high schools can offer, and I hope that we are able to have more and more Unified classes that not just cater to Unified Sports, but then cater to all different opportunities and interests. So hopefully our program just continues to grow.
Why settle for a school that only offers you one thing when you can have a school that offers you everything? Does your school have a cafeteria like this? Or a performing arts center like this? Or a football field like this? Or an innovation center like this? Forward, march. or a path to the military like this, or a career and technical education program like this? Or will their digital media program take you here, or here, or here, or a media center like this? You can find all this and more at the Tolleson Union High School District. Enroll now.
My name is Ashley Pollock, and I am a math teacher at Tolleson Union High School. I'm here to talk about an important opportunity coming up, the ACT exam on October 22nd. The ACT is the key exam to determining how prepared you are for college, but also opens doors to scholarships and any other financial options. The ACT will also help you jumpstart any current plans you may have for the future, whether that's college, starting a career, or any other potential options. The ACT will also help you better prepare for your final attempt happening in March this year. But it's not just about you. Your performance also benefits our school and our entire district. When you perform well on the ACT, it shows how committed...
Is this a wish, an aspiration? Is this a must-have? Kind of, is every post-it a must-have? Well, I don't see Mr. Hicks here, so everything can be possible, right? Maybe you want to...
Yeah.
So he's got the no button on the live stream.
What I'd like to do is there's a ton of information here, and it's all amazing. We're trying to sort of categorize it into like bigger buckets, and from that agree as a group on some like bigger goal ideas that come out of this. It's not to say that any one of these is not important, but that like it gives us a bigger goal that you could describe in an elevator to someone of what kind of where we're going as a design team. Yeah.
Sorry.
Should I repeat that?
No. Is it on?
And so we're gonna. Okay, we're going to go through each of these and kind of go through them with you and start to categorize them. Diana's going to start to put labels on them. We can look at them together and decide if they're in those, if we're in the right category. Then we've kind of got them. Then we can start to like put some big goal ideas together. So does that work for everyone? So I'm going to ask you all to be interactive, and if you want to stand up or sit down, and so okay. Okay, so
We've been on, virtual. That's okay.
Okay, so I mean, to kind of start with, we've got a lot about like classroom spaces themselves, and I think we kind of put CTE stuff separately. In your mind, is that kind of a separate thing? Our core curriculum classrooms and CTE spaces kind of two different buckets?
Yes.
Okay. Can we just label like learning spaces and then CTE? So this is CTE here, classroom. Yeah.
I was going to say, like, why don't we reissue?
Okay.
I think your next boardroom needs a giant whiteboard.
Just tear the whole thing off.
There you go. I'll take this.
Okay.
took it. Oh, you put it on. Oh, you put it, okay, I see,
Other kind of big picture, and I'm kind of skipping all over the place here, but we had a number that talked about culture, sports culture, just culture, representing community culture. In your mind, are those similar ideas? Community culture versus sports culture, or those go, or is that a different thing?
I'd say they're pretty similar, and sports usually builds up a community. So.
College vibe, does that fit under culture?
Yeah.
Okay. Over there. Bring your own device. So this is technology. Let's put one over technology. Appropriate space for support functions, facilities, and food service. So that's a kind of a functional need. And so under functional needs, I kind of put lots of storage, plenty of parking. Does that fit into the same? Parking and I know are not the same thing, but those are kind of design problems that we need to solve. So that's why I kind of put them under the same category. What's that?
Yeah.
Okay. Innovation, innovative layout. I'm gonna put that under culture. Okay. Does that word culture, or is that a different thing? Innovative layout. Or
more of design.
More of design.
How about tiered classroom with circular structure? Can you elaborate?
Yeah, so, you know, when we have like a circular, space interior
with the classes room, they will be tiered because they're like semi-circular.
Okay.
And the rooms are going to be, tall so that they can have that tier seatings that is sort of like locked in. It's almost like a college, space, because if you have a
lecture hall kind of
tier, therefore the word tier.
Thank you. Sorry, I just
No, it's okay.
pictured it.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Low maintenance cost. Okay, it's a little hard for me to read upside down. Next level innovation center. Next level innovation center, indoor sports, football stadium, gardening, CTE spaces for biology, etc., collaboration spaces, gardening, small student rooms, useful courtyards, congregating for various interests after school.
Those are like learning spaces, too.
Yeah, so those are kind of all the auxiliary type of things that happens at a school. What do you guys call that kind of auxiliary spaces or?
Which color is it?
So it's an innovation center, the football stadium, useful outdoor spaces, gardening. Kind of put those. They're not really education per se, like core education spaces. They're more all the other stuff that we want. It's kind of related to culture.
Auxiliary. Yeah.
Okay. We do auxiliary. Position of the school direction for sunlight. Solar. What is that word?
Solar. Clear.
Solar clear.
Okay. Lots of shade, natural light in the classrooms, green spaces. I'm going to put that over here. Native shade, so this is kind of nature, if you will. Trying to think of a name for this.
Nature and sustainability.
Yeah.
Okay.
More sustainable.
Is that right? We can change this.
Well, no, you guys are organizing it, so
Okay. Okay.
More organized, and then you can reach out to your, if anything else makes more sense.
Technology advancements. There. Track and field around football stadium.
That's the box thing.
And then this is kind of safety, so we got advanced safety and security. Foster various ladies' room with safety.
Well, the thing is, the ratio of the bathroom, we want it to be increased for the ladies. You know, I just think that for the female students, even out in the real world, it's not, you know, equitable.
The restrooms issues, particularly for the ladies, you know, is a bit draconic if you ask me. Like, our society doesn't even address that to begin with. So I'd like to have that implemented in our next high school, where we can see a 2-to-1 ratio. The bathrooms are just much longer. It takes longer for the ladies to get from class to class, you know, if they had to take their bio breaks. Of course, the safety has to be in place. So it just depending on how they're positioned throughout the building is also very, very important. If we know that a lot of the classrooms are on one side with the CTE or the scheduling, whatnot, but where they're most concentrated at. Yeah.
Perfect, thank you very much. We did some shadowing exercises today, and so we got to see some of that firsthand. So thank you for sharing. So we've got a bunch up here that are, I think I put them under kind of I think of them as aspirational ideas. Unique, innovative design, best high school design in Arizona, integration of whole school with design space, art space. I'm going to put that back into the other category that we had of under the designs.
Where did we go?
Oh, we didn't have?
Nope.
Oh.
Not yet.
Oh, okay, so I guess this is kind of two different things.
I think we're starting it right now.
Okay, so timeless design. So these are actually form. I think these are kind of aspirational. Create a cafeteria and main space with a feel of importance for students. I'm going to put that under aspirational. Support staff, access space within reach of students, so that's form. Exterior buildings, light tan to match the environment. So, okay. Okay, so this, yeah, this is that. Everybody good with that? And then
Circular with multi-shaped and oh.
yeah, let's see.
Oh,
It's part of the partnership tie-in.
yeah.
It's okay, we can't read his handwriting either.
That's our PIR tie-in for various CTE and STEM classes.
I really wasn't trying to get rid of that, I just didn't know where to put it. Okay. This one. Okay. Give us just a minute here. We're going to put these up.
So what's kind of cool is the office spaces are falling off the.
Yeah.
It's really.
Okay, so big categories that are shaking out. Culture, design form, learning spaces, which is really more about like core classroom. We've got CTE over here, which kind of relates to this. Aspirational ideas, timeless design, those kinds of things. Safety and security, the auxiliary spaces, and then sustainability. And what's our last one?
This one is functional needs.
Functional needs. Anything else after having seen this, anything else in your mind that you think we've missed? Kind of big picture ideas, big broad ideas.
Right, the CTE programs, their space, we would like to see some sort of a hybrid space, because we don't just want to design a CTE, which is pretty specific to, depending on the vocation, obviously. If we can, get some sort of an assistant in brainstorming where certain CTE programs can merge in the shared space. So DCTE spaces, we want them to be, a lack of a better word, innovative, that we can foresee future vocations that will be, popping up, because the way the world of occupation is advancing so fast, so just something like that. I wouldn't know how to word it, but this gives you a gist of what I'm trying to get.
So hearing what you've said, I feel like I could interpret that kind of a couple different ways. So one is that you make, that we've got innovative things happening in the future. We don't even know what they are yet. And we did make spaces that we could train kids to do those things. We don't know what they are. And the other is that you've got a sort of multifunctional space that's democratized for everybody. Almost like a technology-rich library or something like that.
Yeah, like for CTE programs for communication, for journalism, for example, with a layout, like the Good Morning America, see through glass, whatnot, in the shared common space, like some of the new campuses that we saw. But, in the background in that space, it can be also used for another CTE program. So that when we do scheduling, it can be overlapped and not almost going to be empty for the half of the day, and that can be utilized. And also to have a basic function for storage, because the storage is what's going to create and adjust if new things come up. And that's just an idea. I don't know what that was saying.
Yeah, something to add on to that would be, tackling common issues like power, right? We don't know where in the classroom we're going to need power. We kind of need power everywhere, but we don't want the power getting in the way. We've tried drop power. We have our principal of West Point. She can tell you how much she doesn't like those things hanging down and the kids having to swing around on them. So just doing something simple, like we need power to be available anywhere inside the room. We don't want a bunch of cords all over the place. We don't want it to look tacky. And however we're bringing power to the whole room, we need it to also be gone and out of the way when we need it to be gone and out of the way. So tackling those kind of challenges in an innovative way, like those are some of the things like in a CTE classroom that are going to be very important.
Yeah, and I think for me too, for the CT and STEM programs where there can be tie-ins with NASCAR, you have marketing, hospitality, obviously automotive, there's culinary tie-ins, there's, even some of the engineering stuff that goes around there, because obviously they'll have other curriculum pieces that they'll cover that aren't, race specific, but kind of being close to that area with some, intentional design where they go into a NASCAR kind of section of their curriculum, that the space, is available for that and functional for that.
You talked a little about, you mentioned NASCAR, and I know that's come up a number of times, and we talked about design form, and there's a couple of comments on that, but it feels, I'm sensing that there's maybe a bigger thing, or maybe not.
The thing about with the PIR partnership, they're not paying for the school, so there is no PIR partnership. But what we have is a community, relation with PIR, and our focus with PIR is with the CTE programs, portion of the high school. We're not building a four-wheel high school design, so we just want to make that clear that the sport is so important. We want that spirit, the community, involvement, so that when we have a football game, the community is going to show up for it, or there's a NASCAR that's going to be in town that's going to create congestion and headaches for our local community,
you know, we want to have, you know, a friendly space, you know, from our high school, you know, to counteract all that. You know, because it's great to have, you know, that relationship, you know, but it's not the theme for our high school.
Perfect, thank you, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 categories.
Definitely 5.
Well, I was going to say.
Which categories are there categories we're missing?
I will. I was like throwing out a random number.
Okay.
Yes. But in general, that to Carmen's point, is any other big aspirational ideas? Broad. Community partnerships.
Yeah, I was just saying, I mean, and it was kind of like our feedback piece, but like, you know, whether it's a category on the board or something in general, I mean, obviously, you know, we want significant stakeholder feedback from our current existing staff who, you know, we have 6 sites with, you know, various, you know, things we could have done better at. Obviously, the parents of the students in the area that we're going to be building the school, and, you know, certainly students now that, you know, can share some of the good things and the things we need to work on as a school district. So yeah, definitely community partnership, and then like obviously community business partnership focus in there, whether it's a category or something that we build into this process.
Thank you. Anything else before we kind of I'm going to try to consolidate these just a little bit. I don't want to oversimplify it, but I'd love to consolidate.
I have one question. I wrote it down. It's important to have a relationship with NASCAR, but not themed. Is that a consensus, or is that can you all, like, part of us as architects, we switch into Disneyland mode, right? We're like everything's going to be checkered, but we're not going to go that far. So I just wanted to hear a little bit more on your thoughts about how strong that partnership is, or is it more of an educational partnership?
Yeah, I think there's, you know, different pieces to it. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say like the pack is obviously not, I wouldn't think would have any kind of NASCAR tie-ins unless they start, you know, a theater program, you know, nationwide for NASCAR or anything like that. But I think there's like sections of the school where there's, you know, tie-ins to the program. You know, I think, you know, as we continue to build that partnership with PIR that we have existing and down the road. So yeah, I think there's pieces there, you know, sections of the school. I think, you know, one thing we talked about is like the parent drop-off, having the checkered stripes there. I think that is kind of like cool for, you know, folks driving in there. So not like 100% of the school, my thought, but I think there's like definitely pieces that we can, you know, show that back and forth.
Yeah, to, you know, that is for the auditorium, to make sure that it creates a pit and a space for a symphony orchestra.
Oh, cool. So,
yeah, because symphony orchestra is one thing we don't have in any of the campuses. I would like to see if we can incorporate it, you know, in the new school. But going back to the PIR, question, comments, is that, you know, what Member Chapman mentioned about, you know, giving a nod, you know, to the PIR. You know, again, it's a relationship. We are at the beginning stage of that relationship. We don't know what will be entailed. So, you know, we just want to table that for now. But as far as the design of it is, you know, completely from the community. It's completely, you know, before, you know, that sits before you. But the example that he gave is like, you know, giving that nod, like this checkerboard. I mean, that's something, you know, that we know, hey, you know, we're in this community, we're in this shared community with the PIR. You know, they're a big business, and chances are, you know, we will have a lot of relationship building, just like we have with other campuses like West Point, and they made the example there to recruit some of their family, you know, children in attending the district. So it could vary, but we just ask for you to hold on that. I don't want you to think that that's the theme, like Disneyland, and that's the example.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Yeah. Because it's such a small niche, and I don't think that will serve well for the community and other, members of our community, thoughts of it. But it is something that we're looking for is timeless, and that is a consensus, is that will make something unique,
I heard the word timeless, right? Okay. Yeah. You read that, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've got my
We have another board member online, I believe, as well, right?
Member Dr. Luna Nahara, do you have any comments, shared ideas?
No, I'm here, not at this time.
Thank you.
A little bit more of a process question when you talk about unique and timeless, definitely not Disneyland. Getting your community buy-in, we can bring like precedent images, things like that to kind of get a feel from the board or from Mr. Caius, your students, for what timeless means to you. That's kind of what you're looking for. It's a little more of that feedback loop rather than a ta-da at the end, right?
Catch up your input. Sticking to school since
So, every goal under the sun for high schooling.
All right.
And Diana will write as fast as she can. Yeah, David?
Yeah, so we took everybody's thoughts and we've kind of, to simplify things, put them into big categories. So we've got CTE spaces, technology, safety and security, aspirational design concepts, sustainability, functional needs, auxiliary type spaces, learning spaces, culture, and design form. So these are all the comments of all the other board members.
You don't have to check their work, right?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. No, it looks good. Yeah, CTE spaces, innovation, STEM, technology. I envision this being the premier school. Yeah, sustainability obviously just falls off the chart there. Sustainability, we like it. I know my colleagues are really big on sustainability in terms of the design element, so I would just add on to that. We obviously want this to look different out of the box, no pun intended, no squares if you will, right? We want this to be a unique looking design. So let's get creative with that. Obviously the Phoenix Raceway Partnership is a huge part of our CTE programming, but it's not just about automotive sports, it's STEM in general, science, engineering, cybersecurity. I mean, it's beyond even just the motorsports, but having a space that is different from what we traditionally see or what we traditionally know as maker spaces. I think we need to evolve from that, from just having drop-down plugins and sockets to something more useful that can be flexible for our students' needs and desires. So this needs to be a space that can house something different for our students, different from what we've ever done before. So I don't know which category. I guess you could put that under CTE or maybe design.
Well, we've got that aspirational.
So everything you said, Member Del Blasio, we already said it.
I figured you would. That's why I had to check the word.
No, just to add on to Member Del Blasio's statement is that we went and did a lot of tours in other campuses and we saw their amazing work, and we're not looking for a replica. We're also not looking for a modern design. I think that when I say modern, it has a time limit to it. So we don't want that kind of a look.
You mentioned timeless earlier.
Right,
Is
yeah.
that synonymous?
Yeah, because timeless is not so much what dictates is modern of the day, right? So we want to, look at designs, even in its shape, that, I mentioned to my colleagues, I said, if I see just one more square, I'll just, scream, but we're not looking for a pyramid either, right? Yeah, so, one of the beauties of, architectural design is that the very first, image that we see in any structure is its, dimension and the shape. So I personally am looking for something that is circular. Of course, within the circular structure can be squares and rectangles and whatever, whatever takes up the space. And, we always say we want something new, we want something different. And you probably hear that a lot. But with us and coming from the community, we have an idea. There is a vision. And, hopefully you guys will be able to, capture that. I don't think it's going to be easy, to be honest with you, because you're going to get so many inputs, especially from the community. But we also want to bring something before the community for them to consider and to, and add their, flair. Because sometimes we want to be inspired, and we want to inspire, them. So it's definitely a, collaborative, input. So we wish you all the luck.
And Madam President, I would just add real briefly to that is utilizing every corner of this landscape, not wasting any space. And what I mean by waste is being intentional. So when I think about our students with exceptional needs, ensuring that they have an area where they can go in and get any recreation needs that they might have, right? That's in a safe space for them. That's something that I think we missed the mark on with West Point. And so just being intentional about all of our students and how they can utilize these spaces. Another thing I'd like to add is more of an openness that allows for students to gather, to collaborate, to work together. And so in teams, want like spaces that are flexible for our educators to utilize to be able to, get creative with how they deliver instruction. So again, not sure which category that falls in, but I heard a clicking and typing. I know you're taking notes. So.
Perfect, thank you very much.
But remember, Del Blasio, we did mention about the room, being in that circular with the tiers. That's like a college, area where there's a what do you call it, like the sounding, going to the students, with the instructor, at the bottom. But that's a good point because, we sometimes forget that even those little tiniest detail, is crucial. And as far as assessing accessibility for disabilities needs. Like for example, West Point in the corridor is so nice, and it's true. The students are out there, they're enjoying it. It has that communal feel, it's like a 360-degree, view, but then there's no slight ramp, up to those, steps, right? So just be confident of that, with the accessibility. And it could be used, with versatile, like, all students can access to it. Like Guggenheim's, museums, there you go.
We're speaking the architecture language right now.
I know we're coming down towards the end of our time, and you guys have a board meeting here in just a few minutes. Just to so I know I'm kind of looking at all the different categories here, and I see most of them have just about everybody's color on them, which suggests that you agree. Does anybody disagree with anything on the board? Or think that maybe others should take more priority than some?
I mean, as the president of the board, every post-it is in consensus. It's just, like, we all know each other very well, and we know what we're looking for, so I think it's really amazing, that we all have, the same vision.
So I heard you say every post-it is consensus, right?
What I mean is that I don't think we ever have a really strong objection to, any ideas or suggestions, just because, we all have a shared, view. So I personally think I would agree with everything, on that board.
Everyone else?
Yeah, no, it's 10 minutes and all sorts of different, I know there's things in there that aren't captured that I know we'll be looking for, Devin had mentioned spaces for special needs population. One thing I was trying to figure out how to draft is I kind of like the pack setup at the last two schools, or the last two packs that we built, where it's like a large space to really support the students that are in the performing and visual arts. So I mean, you know, we'll have probably, you know, lots and lots more sticky notes, so to speak, that we couldn't do in the 10 minutes, but you know, basically just creative, innovative, and spacious areas for all of our various programs is you know, something that I would be looking for, even though we didn't necessarily get to all of them in the 10 minutes on the sticky notes.
Perfect. So this is by no means an end in itself. I know we had a very limited amount of time today, so I really appreciate it because this gives us a really good idea of like what to step off on. And we will be circling back with you as well. I want to turn it over to anyone else that wants to comment, and we've got a few more things to wrap up. And online as well.
Member Dr. Luna Nahara, do you have any comments, questions?
Not at this time.
You're good? Good, thank you. Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll wrap that up, and we're just going to look at next steps and get you off to your next meeting time.
So this is the very beginning of a long and hopefully beautiful relationship when designing and then building the school. So what we like to do is come out and listen. David, Bryra, and others shadowed some of your students today to see firsthand how West Point is working for them or where pain points might be. And we will be back early and often. We want to listen to you. We also want to listen to your community. Probably have some focus groups with parents or students, focus groups with Mr. Caius and staff too, to learn from the other schools that you're running. So this is just step one. We usually take about 60 days to sort of get the concept and the feeling before we start diving into, you know, concrete design. So things like PAC feedback absolutely will happen. It'll probably be more like May, while March and April are a little more exploring and figuring out the goals. That makes sense? Excellent. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being such great participants, and we'll make sure you have more than 10 minutes to brainstorm next time. And I'll turn it back over to Ms. President.
Members, any last comments, questions for DLR group? Thank you so much for being here. I hereby adjourn the meeting at 5:22. Thanks again.